Hello, welcome back to Higurashi Minagoroshi. Late in the series. I forgot the chapter number. We're getting there. New week, Christmas weekend is over. Hopefully you had a fun time. I mean, I obviously it's not as exciting as it normally is, but mine was pretty relaxing, if I do say so myself. Gift haul. I think I got a pretty good gift haul. Bamboo steamer, electric popcorn machine, though I did want an oil one, but that's okay. If I want a oil popcorn, I just cook it myself. Electric one is fun to use and healthier, so. Got some gourmet popcorn, some Amish one, so I definitely want to try that one out, probably tomorrow, honestly. Electric shaver, which is nice. I don't shave a lot because I barely have any facial hair, but that'll be something. um, the $500 headphones. I'm actually using my old ones just because I've been lazy and fixing the sound, but I switch between them because that one's wireless, so I switched to these, my old ones, while recording so I can just charge them in between. But they're really good. Really happy about those. Got a book. I got Ramana Itogenji's book. Like every year, Viz likes to translate some of his stories into physical copies, so I try to get them every year. I'm missing 2019's. I forgot what it's called, but it's a anthology. But yeah, I got Remina. Very excited. I like Remina. I think it's better than Gio, and I would put it in his top three. But I know a lot of people would switch that out for Gio. I guess it's just a matter of taste. I think that's it. No, I just played a gift exchange with some of my cousins and friends, and I got a neck massager. So that's it's pretty good. I'm happy with the haul. Hopefully you guys got some good loot too. But yeah. We're back to Higurashi. Last time we saw Rita trying to convince Tomotachi and Takano to be extra careful. Obviously because they are fated to die. At least Tomotachi is. What was I gonna say? We were actually having a pretty interesting discussion about it in the comments of the last video. So if you want to chime in over there, if you have anything you want to say specifically, then feel free. It's more of just like the fact that the existence of Hanyu and how she has not figured out the mystery since she can literally just stalk anyone. So, I mean, we talked about it. If you want to weigh in, feel free to weigh in that thread. But for now, let's get into this. So, Rita tried. It didn't really work too well. Seems like Tomotachi and Takano might be a little more secure, but not like we're gonna call in some of the mountain dogs or whatever to protect us, some government officials. And they went to the clinic. It seems like Rita's not tailing her because she was with her friends, but who knows? Maybe she did secretly tail this time. I guess we'll just have to continue the story to find out. So let's just get right into this. Tomotachi gathered up his paperwork and slipped it inside his bag.
嫌にしつこかったね。そんなに僕らに死んでほしいのかな。
And then it's kind of understandable not to believe someone when they're saying you're gonna die. Like, at least take like super major, like precautions and like call security and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, honestly, if Takano was the culprit and she heard that, I would be more freaked out, honestly, because it's like, how does this little girl know I'm my big brain plan? Though she doesn't know I guess she wouldn't know the fake part. So, but it's an interesting dilemma, I guess.
夢の話とはいえ迷惑な話よね。
入江所長にリカちゃんの検査を念入りに行った方がいいと言っておいてください。夢見の悪さは何かの予兆かもしれない。リカちゃんに何かあったら大変なことになるからね。
They said that the village would be wiped out if she died. At least Rika did. So I'm very interested in learning what that's about. Tatano touched Tomataki's hand gently. I also I mean, I do believe Tatano to be the culprit more than Oishi, as I stated before, but I do like to believe that their chemistry is real. I kind of like them as a couple, so it'd be kind of sad if she was just faking it all, which I have a feeling it might be if she is the culprit. As he turned bright red, Tatano moved in closer and spoke. The way she acts is just too sexy, Toмотaki thought. So this is definitely third person. Okay.
ねえ次郎さん、
Just too sexy.
とても真面目な話があるの。聞いてくださる？
なんだい？高野さんまで真面目な話があるってのかい？まさか高野さんまで僕が喉をかきむしって死ぬ夢を見たなんていうのはなしだよ。
そのまさかだとしたら、
え
Tatano stared at him with a mischievous look as if seducing him, and started whispering into his ear.
驚いているのよ。あの子には本当に神通力があるのかもしれないってね。
Brace yourselves.
それはどういうことだい？
Tatano smiled gently and pulled back her hair. Even seeing her do that made Tomotaki's heart race.
私、あなたのことが好きよ。
それは光栄だな。
Tatano's fingers curled around Tomotaki's chin, stroking, tickling, and caressing it. Her movements were very captivating and seductive.
いろいろな男と付き合ってきたけれど、野心も野生味も私には合わなかった。あなたのような固くて真面目な人が一番相性がいいって分かったの。あなたなら私のすべてを受け止めてくれる。私のことを本当に理解してくれるって。
If you're wondering why I'm not saying anything, I'm just holding it, alright? It could be a misdirection or a red herring, alright? But yes, I do understand what she said and stuff. But let's hold off the celebrations.
だからあなたにならミオのすべてを捧げられる。私のすべてをあなたに抱き受けてもらいたいの。
This does sound kind of sexy, not gonna lie.
この気持ちがわかるかしら。
I understand, Jiro.
高野さん、急にどうしたんだい？
Her voice didn't really sound that affectionate. Oh, I thought it sounded kind of affectionate. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird like that. Toмотaki knew from experience that he couldn't grasp what was on her mind when she wore a cold smile like that.
いよいよなの。もうじきなの。
It seemed as though she couldn't wait for something to happen. There was a chilling allure to her strange smile that made one question if something exciting was really about to happen.
何がもうじきなんだい？
Toмотaki asked, trying hard to resist the temptation. Dude, I'm sweating. Well, not sweating, but I'm like metaphorically sweating right now.
私の夢が叶う日がやっ。
君の
I skipped it.
夢？
そう。私の夢。話したことがあったわよね。それとも私なんかが話したことは記憶に残らないのかしら？
いや、覚えてるよ。君の夢。
Tomotaki's response was vague. Either he didn't remember or he hadn't understood it very well.
いよいよお社様のたたりが現実のものとなる日がやってくる。その日こそが私の子供の頃からの夢が叶う日。次郎さん、聞いて。私はもうあなたと一緒にはいられないの。
え？それはどういう意味だい？
あなたと私は違う世界に住む存在なの。ここひなみ沢は人の世と鬼の世の接点だから、日の当たる世界のあなたと日のでも
I skipped.
もうそれが終わる。陽光の降り注ぐ日中に訪れた束の間の月食が日の当たる世界の人間と日の当たらない世界の鬼を引き合わせた。私が何を言っているかわかるかしら。
高野さん、まだビールが抜けないのかい？
Tomodachi, I think it's time to run.
酔ってるね。
お別れの夜が来たの。日の当たる世界を教えてくれてありがとう。あなたの温かさは日だまりの温かさだったわ。騙し合ったり疑い合ったりしない本当に温かい関係だった。
Well, at least she wasn't faking it. Like I said, she might have been.
だからあなたと別れるのがとても惜しい。
Wouldn't it be hilarious if Takano actually died and Oishi was just messing with us because he's also like the culprit for the past murders? And he's just trying to confuse the other people? That just popped up into my mind. But I don't know, dude. She pulled herself away from Tomodachi and slowly stepped back. I'm guessing we're gonna see real soon. As if signaling the time had come for them to part.
君が何を言っているのかわからない。何の話なんだい、高野さん。
だからあなたに選んでほしい。私のそばにいることを選んで日の当たる世界のすべてを捨てる勇気を見せてほしい。あなたが私の耳元でささやいてくれたことがどれも本当だったなら、ジローさんに戸惑いはないはず。
Sorry, Takano, you're being dramatic. By that time, Tomodachi understood what Takano was asking him to make an important decision.
まさか君は。
そのまさかなの、ジローさん。
Tomodachi got up from his seat and looked Takano straight in the eyes. There was a faint glimmer of hostility within those eyes.
私より仕事が大事なの、やっぱり。
信じられない。君のことを信じていたのに。
Interesting. So there might be more to this. Those words were one of rejection. Takano's lips twisted into a cruel smile.
お社様は人と鬼を融和したそうだけど、そのお社様でも私とあなたを融和することはできなさそうね。
Takano slowly opened the door. 6 men in overalls were standing there at the ready. Tomodachi was frozen in shock. The 6 men walked up to Tomodachi with no expression on their faces. It was immediately obvious that they were going to do something to harm him.
これは何の真似だ。
ひなみ沢症候群は導火線に火がついた爆弾と同じ。
Hinamizawa syndrome. Is that like the actual name of the disease?
それが爆発する前に 東京は
Yep.
あなたに
Okay.
爆弾を解体してしまうことを命じた。でもね、東京にはこの爆弾が派手に爆発して欲しがっている人もいるの。
バカな。そんなことをして誰が何の得をするんだ。
得のないことをする人なんてこの世にはいないわ。損得があるからベクトルが生まれる。だから私を前にそれを問うことは無意味ね。
信じられない。そんなバカなことを考えている連中がいるのかい。南沢症候群はとても危険な病気であることは君も知っているはずだ。
そうよ。爆発すればとても大変なことになる。だからこそ東京も失態を隠しきれない。
君はその連中に買収されたというのか。
Okay, so Tomotaki's aware that there is some outside forces interested in the disease. That's what I was thinking, right? Not just like he thinks that she's the murderer of people from the curse murders. I thought he was thinking it might be something part of some bigger thing. So he's kind of right about that, though.
元からそういう目的で送り込まれているの。
Interesting.
申し訳ないわね。
It's interesting because I always thought my motivations for Takano was always something more not something in like involved in some other person's plans, I guess. It's more of her own interest in lore, or yeah, especially after what the grandfather wrote her to.
出会った時から私と
Though
あ
I
なたは
mean the way
すぐ
she's
世界を
talking,
つなぐ
it also does sound she is motivated by these ideas, I guess, of how did the grandfather put it? I forgot the exact hint. Something about becoming a deity. Was it deity? I think he said, which is God, or a divine being.
それで僕をどうするつもりだ。
あなたの協力があれば私の仕事はとても楽になるわ。もちろんそれはあなたにとっては裏切り行為にあたる。
僕に寝返れというつもりか。
次郎さん、私に囁いてくれた愛が本当なら黙って私に協力してはくださらないかしら。もちろん報酬は望みのま
You'll
ま。
be compensated.
あなたが私を望むならば一生をあなたに捧げてあげる。あなたが望むとき、あなたの望むところであなたの望むように。私はあなただけのもの。あなたのためだけに独り占めをしていいのよ。私もあなたにならあなただけの女になってあげてもいい。
Well, if we assume this, well, I guess it wouldn't be. This actually might be a different interaction than the past chapters, because I don't think Rika's been. I mean, she has, but it's not like it's not guaranteed to be an every time occurrent. Well, maybe it is if Takano did actually want to negotiate with Jiro every time, but I guess that shows that Jiro is at least he's he won't be swayed to join the dark side. I mean, I guess a better way to put it is he won't endanger a lot of people's lives for Takano, which is pretty
私の心にあなた自身を住まわせてみたいとは思わない？
pretty admirable. Sticking up for the greater good, I guess. I mean, we still don't know the whole picture of what's actually happening right now. Her words were kind of an assault, directly hammering at the emotions men had difficulty resisting. They were like an evil spell to control his heart. Upon hearing them, Tomotaki felt an unknown sensation rub against his spine as his feet froze in place, entranced. However, he forced himself to resist the temptation. That's my boy. He sealed the cracks in his wall of reason to stop Takano from forcefully entering his heart.
断る。
She had known from the start that Tomotachi was going to refuse her. Even so, Tatano let out a triumphant laugh. It's funny. She thought Tomotachi would refuse right away. However, it took him a while to refuse because of how effective she was seducing him. The time it took for him to refuse her was one of victory for Takano. For Tomotachi, it was a time of humiliation. Takano continued to laugh. She sounded rather like an evil witch.
そう言うと思ったわ。それでこそ私の大好きな二郎さんよ。
Who the hell are you? New sprite? Takano raised up her right hand and gave a signal to the mountain gods. Interesting. I mean, so they are not a government affiliated group, which I kind of guessed if Takano had control and I mean, yeah. Who is this chump?
二郎さんも鈍いわね。山犬は初めから私の部下よ。
Yeah.
この診療所は最初から私たちが掌握している。知らないのはあなたと入江所長だけよ。
Tomotachi moved into action, sensing the danger that was about to befall him. His fists thrust out as quick as lightly, knocking one man down before he could even blink. However, the other mountain dogs certainly weren't going to just stay there and watch. They all attacked him as one. He tried to strike back with an elbow, but he simply couldn't overcome the difference in numbers. Tomotachi tried his best, but soon enough, the mountain dogs had wrestled him to the ground. Oh. CG? Okay, I think we can talk a bit. I think it's pretty clear that Takano does kill Tomotachi. And she is working for an organization or something, which is interesting. So you can put that off your checkbox, and you're like, Aiden, you got it right. Well, to be fair, I don't. To be fair, it's a pretty late answer. I'm wondering how many people got it from Chapter 4, which I think is pretty possible, because I think the big tipping point for me was, in last episode, I did say I went back to the Takano scene into Higurashi, and for some reason in my mind, I just did not remember it being so, like, direct. I thought it was, like, a more vague scene, but it was, like... It should have really just knocked your suspicious meter off the charts. But I would like to say it's just because she does this doesn't mean she does everything. Though, if you think about it, the fact that she has an elite group of soldiers to carry out the murders, then it's probably a good chance for doing everything, but we'll wait for the confirmations. But yes, I do think Takano is also probably the Rika killer. It makes the most sense for me, unless she really does die in the barrel, which is possible, I guess. But then we'll see that soon. Sorry, Tomotachi. Should have listened to Rika, but I guess since Takano was going to kill you, he would just follow Takano, who would refuse the protection anyways. They pinned him down so that he couldn't move an inch.
さすがね、二郎さん。6人がかりでも手こずらせるなんて素敵よ。
Takano walked over and smiled while looking down at Tomotachi.
ねえ、二郎さん。どうせ断るんでしょうけれど、私の自己満足のためにもう一度聞かせてね。やっぱり意見を変えて、私の味方になってはくれないのかしら。
無駄だ。君の仲間にはならない。
その一言が欲しかったの。私の未練を断ち切るためにね。
Takano was holding a small case in her hands. She opened it and showed Tomotachi what was inside.
その注射は
いやね。
The disease in a liquid form.
想像がついてるくせに。
バカ、全て破棄したはず。
Oh god. Laura, we're gonna have to find out later, I guess.
ジローさん、あなたはこう思っているでしょう。たとえ破棄した例の注射だとしても、自分は予防薬を投与済みだから注射されても免疫があるはず。そうでしょ。だから怯えてないのよね。あなたが今回ひなみ沢に来た時に投与された予防薬は
Oh
ね、
god.
違うのよ。あなたは今自覚してないだろうけども、すでにレ
L3.
ベル3クラスで感染してる立派なひなみ沢症候群の潜在患者なの。
Huh.
二郎さん、注射するとき目を背ける癖があるでしょ。ダメよ。自分に何の注射がされてるか毎回ちゃんと確認した方がいいわよ。
くそー、話せや。
Tomodachi struggled to get away, but he simply couldn't move. Upon seeing his sore state, Tatano laughed with glee.
H173 は二郎さんもよくご存知のはずよね。
I do not.
投与することで感染し、
Oh,
かつ
it's
興奮
probably
状態を
the
誘発することで疑似的にレベル5を発症さ
it's
せる。
the strain of the disease. This is very interesting. This, if what I'm gathering from this conversation, I think it's hinting at that this whole disease in Hinamizawa might be a man-made thing, or at least they're replicating the effects. Because, I mean, ooh, what about this? New tech? What if, like, because there's an army bunker underneath or in the Sonozaki property, what if, like, during the war or something, well, I guess the war didn't happen too long ago, so maybe not, but maybe, anyways. At some point in time, maybe they were using the villagers as test subjects, and, yeah, I don't know. And, you know, trying to make a disease, I guess, a biological weapon for the war, but maybe after the war was done, they tried to stop that, and, you know, that's why the government's here trying to fix that mistake or whatever. I don't know, sounds like a good off the nose explanation from me. I mean, but who knows? I guess it's just a way to explain the army bunker. I always thought it was kind of weird, but I guess it does make sense. There was a lot of army bunkers made. I do know that, but there you go, one possibility.
どれだけ劇的な効果があったかは二郎さんもご覧になってたんじゃないかしら。
Or maybe it's more recent if they're experimenting with it.
被験者は盛んに頸部、液下のかゆみを訴えていたわね。過去の症例の文献から見ると、どうもレベル5発症時にリンパ節に異常なかゆみを訴えるケースがあるみたい。抗原抗体反応の一種かもしれないわね。だから二郎さん、あなた運が良ければリカちゃんが予言した通りの死に方ができるわよ。自傷で自ら死ぬか、それとも脳を憎悪で焼かれて廃人になるか、あなたはどちらになるのかしらねえ、二郎さん。
やめろ、やめろー。
これじゃあお注射は難しいわね。眠らせてあげて。
Interesting. So the battered, I understand the situation now for the murder scene. So what we know from the autopsy is that it seemed like he was assaulted by multiple people, which was this scene, but there's like no indications of the piece of wood he picked up to actually hit anyone. So that is so they kind of just left him, and he probably ran away into the into the street thinking he's being chased and eventually scratched at his throat. But the assault happened way earlier, so there you go, mystery solved. And I guess that kind of directly matches with Keiichi's situation. And you might be like, well, how did Keiichi get this level 5 virus if the syringe Mion had was just a felt tip marker? Well, actually, felt tip marker, I don't, is that what, is that a thing? If it was a marker. Well, good question. Those people from the clinic were probably not Irie as the doctor person and probably just taught Keiichi and injected him with the disease, probably on Takano's orders. So that's how he died. I'm guessing that's how Rita died too, so Rita was trying to inject Shion with the disease. But that's kind of a questioning thing, because how would Rita get that? So maybe that's not the answer. Maybe she just chose that way as a way of suicide. I'm just trying to think of all the possibilities here. And and maybe that's what happened to Shion? But that doesn't really make sense. And honestly, that's because Keiichi's... No, okay. I don't know. I don't know about Watanabe, but I think the whole Anutakushi situation has fully been explained now. Because it fits really well that Keiichi just got caught by the mountain dogs and they injected him. Or they could have injected him prior to being passed out and being brought back by Rena when those two guys knocked him out. But yeah, cool. Pieces of the puzzle are clicking. Did I read that? Maybe not. One of the men covered Tomotaki's mouth with the towel soaked in some kind of chemical. He tried to fight it off with all his might, but his strength eventually left him, and he became as quiet as a beached whale. Takano stroked his face to make sure that he couldn't resist. Then she brought the needle towards his throat. She pushed it right into his skin. As she squeezed down on the syringe's plunger, the skin surrounding the tip of the needle swelled up, and eventually the contents were absorbed into his body. The mountain dogs finally got off of him. He couldn't even twitch. Yes, okay. So I think that's actually more puzzle clicking. So when Keiichi met Takano, she wasn't like looking for him. She just picked him up, like on a coincidence. And again, this is more fresh in my mind because I did watch my read through of the Takano scene like a couple days ago, and she said her trunk was full, so she couldn't fit the bike in. So Keiichi put the bike in the back where Tomotaki's bike was. So that scene's pretty much finished. I mean, explained, and I'm guessing Takano just assumed that Keiichi killed the uncle or was suffering from the syndrome, which I don't think he was in Higurashi. Maybe. And this is a possibility, but he showed no itchiness or whatever, but I don't know like when I don't know how exactly it works or whatever, but that I think that seems pretty much cleared of what Takano was doing that night. So Keiichi kind of caught her in the act of transporting the body, which is interesting. Two of the men lifted up Tomotaki and carried him outside. Yeah. There you go. The mountain dogs all quietly laughed at the joke. Look at this. Otonodi. I just remembered it. It's the gardeners, which I mean I guess I should have remembered, but it was called Otonodi's flower shop, right? Operation Doomsday. They stopped laughing as she began to speak.
おこのぎは以後の連絡を待て。
Yeah, so Tatano is in a big organization, which is interesting. I didn't see that coming. Honestly, I thought she might be rich, and that's why she has a personal military group. Or she might have actually betrayed them and done something else, but on her own. But this is a little spiced than my prediction.
入江所長から目を離すな。あとフルで理科にも注意してね。どんな第六感か知らないけど、少なくとも彼の死に方だけは当てたわ。
She also predicted your death, which is interesting. I wonder if she's still gonna die. Or at least that corpse is still gonna appear, which I guess it will, because again, Rita did warn them to in other lives.
もっと研究したかったけど、残念ね。
了解ですわ。こちらはお任せください。道中はお気をつけて。
気をつけるほどもない旅よ。ところで入江所長は？
祭りの後の打ち上げ中でしょう。まだ神社の敷地内にいるとのことですね。
あの研究しかできない坊やがどう取り乱すか。
That nerd's face. The mountain dog started laughing again too. Jesus. Tatano checked the time on her watch. It was nearly 10 p.m. Most people must have left the festival for home. Those people who were still there were probably enjoying the after party while getting drunk inside the shrine. It was a good time for her to leave without being seen by anyone.
では、私も出発するわ。死んでくるわね。
Okay, so confirmed it is part of her plan and not some big brain Oishi knows about this evil organization and is dealing with it in his own way. Though maybe I guess that explains, maybe, I don't know. It does, I don't know how, I guess we'll get confirmation about the past murders eventually, but I'm guessing in Totoroshi, maybe Oishi and his partner discovered their ploy and tried to stop them, but then they disappeared because of them. After seeing that, she left the clinic alone. She left through the back door. She left amid the moonlight, the singing of insects, and the sound of a river. It was a typical night in Hinamizawa. While enjoying all these sensations, Tatano got inside her car. Random reach out of nowhere. Tomotachi was sleeping inside the trunk. His bicycle, on the other hand, was loaded into her back seat. Hee hee. How ironic. Your bicycle has a better seat than you. I'll let you out of there soon. I should leave him by the road that leads to Okonomiya. That'll be a good spot. I wonder if Rika's in this spot and they're actually camping out that spot for once. Tatano found a good place to drop him off, but she gave up on it as there was a police cruiser parked in the area. There you go. Okay, so this changes things a little bit, so Oishi is guarding the area. She figured that they were probably patrolling to make sure the 5th year's curse didn't happen. Good job, officers. No one would ever suspect there's a curse packed in my trunk right now. Interesting. So this is different. This is already different than every other year, so Rita did do something, at least. Tatano drove onto the less lit streets with rougher roads. Eventually, the mountain road ended and she was surrounded by darkness. There are rice fields nearby. She could tell by the sound of the croaking frogs. Tatano parked her car in the pitch-black roadside. I'm gonna take a quick washroom break. BRB. I have returned. Okay, let's get back into it. Tatano parked her car by the pitch-black roadside. She had to stop here, otherwise she'd be too close to a residential area. Indeed, she was nearly in Okonomiya. She would have dumped him earlier, but the police cruiser had foiled that plan. Tatano pulled Tomotachi out of the trunk and left him by the road. She also left him his bicycle. Tomotachi let out a small groan. It probably wouldn't be long until he woke up.
さよなら、 ジローさん、
I wonder if he can like sprint to the Okonomiya and like warn people.
あなたのギクシャク
That'd
し
be
た声の
funny.
語りも楽しかったわ。もっと聞かせてもらいたかったから、とても
I skipped it. What's wrong with me?
もうじきあなたは目を覚ますわ。その頃にはあなたはレベル5の末期を迎えてる。あなたは錯乱の挙句、きっと哀れな死に方をするでしょうね。氏脇病が語るように、やはりあなたも喉をかきむしって死ぬのかしら。それを観察できないのがとても残念。そしてあなたの異常な死と私の失踪はこの地に5年目のたたりとして刻まれるでしょう。そうしてお社様のたたりはますます強固なものとなって残る。
I mean, I guess there's still a chance for her to die because she's just supposed to disappear. I don't know why they would show her body. I guess just to prove it was her that disappeared. It's
そ
interesting.
の礎となれるなんて、二郎さん、これはとても名誉なことなのよ。あなたはこれから命ある身を捨てて永遠の存在の一部となれるのだから。
That was her last farewell to Tomataki. Tatano dropped back inside her car and started driving. She could see the place she left Tomataki in her rearview mirror, but it was already shrouded in darkness. Tatano drove through the main streets of Otonomiya and made a few turns, heading for the dark mountains in the distance. It had been a while since she left Hinamizawa. It was almost midnight. She might have already made it to the neighboring prefecture. It was difficult to tell because she couldn't really see anything in the darkness. Tatano stopped her car in the middle of all that. After turning off both the engines and the headlights, there really was nothing but darkness surrounding her. It was as if time had stopped. Tatano wasn't sure how long she waited, but eventually she saw the headlights of a car blinking twice. She blinked her own headlights back at it. Soon she saw several people walking toward her. Two men wearing blue overalls knocked on the window of Tatano's car. Obligingly, she opened it. They looked over her face and the paperwork they had in their hands.
ご苦労様、高野よ。
I guess with her connections with whatever group she has, she can just fake the medical records. I guess that's the way to explain the body. And my big brain idea that this was a fake Takano was wrong. My big brain idea is the reason we didn't see the spread in the first place was the original Takano got kidnapped and killed like this to give the fake Takano up. But I guess it was always kind of convoluted. Well, whatever. Most of my theories involving Takano kind of worked around her being a single party, not like a big organization behind her, so that would definitely change things if I thought of that, which I didn't. After confirming her identification, they called someone over the radio.
本部どうぞ。ヒナを確保。尾行ないか。
尾行はなし。後方400メートルクリア。
Interesting.
尾行はありません。お疲れ様でした。どうぞ指揮者へ。書類をお預かりします。
書類カバンはトランクの中よ。これが鍵。あとコーヒーがもらいたいわね。入れてくださる？
Whoa. The command vehicle was a trailer with a bunch of high-tech communication equipment inside. The light of the electric equipment shone beautifully in the dark.
さあさあ、コーヒーです。どうぞ。
Major Takano. Another man in blue overalls offered her a paper cup.
ありがとう。 私の死体の方は大丈夫？
現地にて偽装終了との連絡が入っております。
現地？隣の県の山中でドラム缶に放り込まれて焼け死になのかしら？
死因までは確認させます。
Operation Doomsday. Okay, explanation. That was the name of their mission. The goal of the operation's first stage was Tatano's escape from Hinamizawa and the extraction of 18 specific classified documents from the clinic. The goal had been completed. Assassinating the liaison from Tokyo, Tomodachi, was also one of their goals. That one had also been completed in the way Tatano had planned. He was not killed in a way just because Tatano had wanted to see it. It was intentionally planned that way so the office in Tokyo would be suspicious of the Irie Institute. They were trying to create the story that the Institute was upset with the recent budget cuts and the cancellation of their studies. Tomodachi's mysterious death would be a suitable way to persuade people. Tomodachi was not the only one who was expected to die. Tatano was expected to do so as well. However, Tatano didn't really need to die herself. They had acquired a substitute body for her, so she didn't actually have to die. Tatano had no idea how they got the body. According to what she heard, a team in Gifu took care of everything. Once Tomodachi and Tatano were dead, Tokyo would definitely grow suspicious of the Irie Institute. The main purpose of this mission was to make the Institute look reckless.
申し訳ありません、ササ。現地の工作班で問題が発生したようです。
問題？どうしたのかしら？
偽装死体の選別にミスがあったそうです。死後24時間経過していたとか。
Oh, there's that explanation.
あら、するとどういうことになるのかしら
？It's funny because I guess Rita just never knew that information or she would be way more sus of Takano than she already was. It's kind of the privilege of us having that police talk tech. And I guess the interview. Or I guess Oishi interrogating Keiichi.
つまりサンサは昨日すでに亡くなられていたことになってしまいます。
Takano's body was supposed to be selected from the corpse of people who had died the same day. The plan was to then burn the body and make identification of the corpse more difficult. They'd found a suitable body for the plan. However, they just found out that it had been dead for over a day. That would create a hole in their plans.
現地の方で現在収集に当たっていますので。
いいわ。その死体を私ということにしなさい。
は。しかしそれでは。
南沢を滅びに導くお社様の使いが実は前日に死んでいて、祭りの当日には
I skipped.
面白い。それは実に面白いわね。
Takano laughed with satisfaction for a while. The other people in the vehicle couldn't understand why Takano was laughing so much. Takano continued to laugh as if it was the funniest thing she'd ever heard. Oh, I just thought of another thing. What if that thing with Keiichi, where when he went and everyone was like, oh, Keiichi was at the festival or whatever. What if it wasn't them just like making an alibi for Keiichi? What if like something was happening to the village already and Rika was already dead? I think that could be a thing. And the bomb was already about to go off. And that's why Irie prematurely committed suicide because he knew it was already over and whatever, Takano's team has won. And that's why things seemed pretty creepy. But obviously Irie wasn't affected because he lives in Otonomiya. Well, kind of. Actually, I just, maybe that's not the best explanation. Never mind. I don't know. Something. Stuff's popping in my head.
現地にはそれを私にしろと伝えなさい。そのくらいのズレがあった方が面白いわ。
よろしいのですか。万が一ということも。
万が一なんてないわ。だって高野美代は現に今日、たとえ検視の結果死後24時間以上経っていると出たって、おめでたい連中は検視結果の方が間違ってると思ってくれるわよ。
Tatna almost seemed to be enjoying the risk.
了解。現場へその旨連絡します。
それより私の死体はドラム缶の中で焼かれていたの？
はい。高速道路近くの山中でドラム缶の中で焼けていたのを発見されたそうです。
Tatno seemed surprised to hear that from him. Then she started laughing strangely again. Nobody could figure out why she was laughing like that.
なるほど。お社様の生まれ変わりは伊達じゃないということなのね。あの子にはやはり人知の及ばない何かがあるということを認めなければならない。
Now I'm wondering, I guess the bigger question is Tatano the one making Keiichi, Shion, and Rena kill people or go crazy? Because like, how would that match up with this plan? In fact, if she's like trying to do the curse murders, it kind of interferes with it because it's like its own kind of thing. It's
南沢の
interesting.
山犬に R の監視体制を厳重にするように連絡を。
了解。
失礼します。沖宮警察が富武の遺体を発見したとの
Already?
傍受しました。
That, well, actually, I don't know how fast that is. It seems pretty fast. But the body, so he's already dead. Okay.
いよいよ始まるわよ。
おいさん、先生が到着してます。
ああ、どうもどうも。どうですか、入江の先生。
Oishi entered the area enclosed by a blue tarp. In there, people from forensics were taking pictures of the dead body from various angles. Irie was squatting down next to the dead body of Jiro Tomotaki. When he stood up, he was white as a sheet. Also, that slight idea that Oishi and Tatano was actually a team, which I kind of had, but I didn't really believe. I think that's like out of the question now. Probably.
信じられません。
そりゃ私だって信じられませんよ。
But this is different. The body was found in a different location, maybe even earlier. Both Irie and Oishi heard the warnings of them dying. This could be completely different.
初見で見た限り、仏は喉をかきむしっています。それも自分の手でです。
Tomotaki didn't live though. Unlucky.
まっとうな死に方じゃない。十中八九、何らかのヤバめな薬物でしょう。
And Irie knows about that too.
彼は何らかの薬物の常習者だったということでしょうか。
I guess it's also classified information. Can't really tell Oishi.
さあね。そいつを調べるのはどうやら我々の仕事になりそうです。
大石さん、この角材は
多分仏が振り回したんじゃないかと思います。で、途中で捨てて喉をかくのが楽しくなっちゃったんじゃないかと。
角材を何のために振り回したんでしょう。
自衛のためと考えるのが一番自然だと思います。仏の体に外傷がいくつかあるのに気づいてます？
ええ、打撲傷を思わせる跡がいくつか散見できます。
ってことは、一番考えられるストーリーは、仏が祭り終了後、沖宮へ帰る途中、ここで何者かに襲われた。
The best thing about this situation also is, well, I don't know the geography, but we do, and Rika does know, and some other people know that they went to the clinic together. They said they were going to the clinic, which I don't know. I don't remember the geography, but possibly that could be in like a different direction, which would look way more sus. But like, actually, I guess it doesn't really matter because you could have just been walking home after the clinic, so maybe not. Damn, I thought that was good.
怪しげな注射とかそういうのをされて、その結果錯乱させられて死に至らしめられた。
Oishi's idea is like pretty close to it. Most exact. Eerie, you liar. It's funny seeing you lie now.
私もそっちは専門じゃありませんが、何らかの中毒による異常行動に自傷行為ってあるらしいじゃないですか。まあその辺はうちの鑑識のじい様が調べてくれるでしょう。
おいさん、失礼します。ここから数百メートルのところに富武二郎のものと思われる自転車が見つかりました。
He was cycling, and then he got off it and ran away.
おお、そうですか。
That's interesting. So, Takano, I thought like it could have been like a way to spice up the thing, but Tomodachi definitely had the bike when Takano dropped him off.
何か手がかりとかは？
いえ、初見では特には。今鑑識が言ってます。
じゃあつまりその自転車があった場所が襲撃場所と考えていいんでしょうね。それで戦ったり逃げたりしてここまで来た。
Oishi frowned, crossing his arms in front of his chest. Irie was looking at the miserable corpse of Tomodachi and he kept saying the same thing. You know why he's saying it's impossible? Because I'm pretty sure Irie also believes that Tomodachi was vaccinated, so it's actually impossible for him to have died from level 5, I forgot what they called it, the illness anyways. Irie knew right away that Tomodachi's death was caused by the terminal symptoms of Hinamizawa syndrome. There it is. He hadn't swung the 2x4 at a real person, but probably saw some kind of hallucination due to the L5 symptoms. Violent reactions to hallucinations is one of the clearest characteristics of the terminal stage. However, Tomodachi supposedly took a vaccine before he came to the village. There's no way he could reach L5 symptoms in such a short period of time. Irie didn't want to believe it, but it was obvious that someone intentionally injected him with the pathogen. The pathogen must have been strong enough to give him L5 symptoms immediately. The only drug that can do that is H173, a chemical weapon that induces an acute onset of symptoms. It makes people hallucinate, which inevitably leads to its horrible death. It's absolute worst kind of demon. However, they had destroyed all of it due to its dangerous nature. All that's left were helpful chemicals such as vaccines and treatment drugs. Tomodachi was their liaison from Tokyo. Whoever killed him must have had full knowledge about him and this drug. How would that person know he was their liaison? It was then Irie thought of Takano. Takano was also a watchdog from Tokyo. She was something like a superintendent. It was quite possible that something bad had happened to her too. Damn, I thought Irie was about to suspect Takano. Unlucky.
そうだ。高野さんはどうなったんです？
え？ああ、お宅の看護師さんの。
多分富武さんと一緒だったと思うんです。高野さんは無事なんですか？
先生、彼女の電話番号はわかります？
もちろんです。
熊ちゃん、入江の先生に電話番号を聞いて署から在宅確認を取らせてください。
了解っす。 先生、番号を。
はい。よろしいですか。
Komotai got the phone number, repeated it to make sure he got it right, and dashed out of the blue tent.
先生、高野さんと仏は確か親しい仲でしたよね。
ええ。
何かトラブルがあったとか、そういうのは聞いたことがあります。
まさか聞いたことないです。仲のいい二人でした。
Tomotaki and Takano weren't just in a close relationship, they were co-workers sent from Tokyo. They had access to information that even Irie didn't. There's no way there was trouble between them.
何事もなけりゃいいんですがね。下手すりゃ仏か、それとも星か。なるほど。看護師なら怪しげな薬物を取り扱えてもおかしくはないですよね。
It is very true.
そんな薬品はうちの診療所にはありませんし、あったとしても厳重に保管されています。高野さんに持ち出せるわけがない。
それでも一般人よりは容易でしょ。
ですからそもそもそんな薬物は聞いたことがないし、当診療所にも存在しません。
Irie made clumsy excuses while he tried to piece together what was going on. However, Irie had no means of knowing the state of affairs in Tokyo, and he couldn't reach any further conclusions. So it was easy to laugh at him as though he's a fraud trapped in a well.
大石さん、留守のようです。署の待機組の方で直接訪問すると言ってます。
先生、すみませんが高野さんの住所を教えてください。じゃあそれプラス県警に今夜出た身元不明の女性死体がないか確認を取ってください。あるいは県外の可能性もあるな。課長に近県にも同様に身元不明の女性死体が出てないか確認を取るよう伝えてください。
了解っす。
沖宮警察が現地の県警本部への接触を開始。サンサ、よろしいのですね。
ええ、構わないわ。そのままで行きなさい。どうせすぐに週末よ。誰かが一人くらい死亡時刻を疑ったって、誰かが耳を貸す前に全てが滅ぶ。
There you go. Seemed like a chapter break, not an end, but we'll see though, just from how fast the sign went up. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was very fun, very interesting. A lot of mysteries solved just from that scene. I mean, Anokatashi is literally just solved completely. And some big chunks from Totoroshi. It's very interesting. They're like 8 and 10. Oh, we should possibly still be a culprit. It's like a 90-10. I don't think Toishi's working with Takano, but it's a 90-10, but like I feel like, yeah. It was a reveal, so Takano's obviously the Rika killer. Takano is the Tomotaki killer 100%. Takano, the way she like talks about herself makes me wanna it's not a confirmation or anything, but it almost seems like a verbal consent to doing the other cursed murders, but I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. Again, with the mountain dogs and the fact that she has a big organization behind her, makes them a lot more believable. But like, there you go. There's the mastermind of at least Tomotaki and probably Rika's death. Again, It could only be Tatano and Oishi, and there's so many more clues pointing to Tatano in this arc. With the hints, and I guess in general, Oichi was more of a convenience answer. Huh. I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I kind of had I had a feeling. I mean, something had to go down because it was the night, so we're gonna see. I didn't know if they were just not gonna show us who killed Tomataki, but they went out and showed us right away. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fun. It is a bit different, I think, but like, I'm pretty sure the scene we just saw was like straight out of one of the question arcs with Oishi and Irie talking, minus the thoughts from Irie. So yeah, there you go. It's a weird feeling of getting something that big of a confirmation, but yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just see how this plays out. Lots of new tech, very fun time. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and we'll see what's happening. At least, I mean, Rita wouldn't know about it, but Rita did change the night a bit. Tomataki's dead spot changed, and if Rita gets rid of it, then hopefully she is a little bit motivated, but she needs to stay up on her toes. I mean, I bet a lot of people are gonna believe her now that Tomataki's dead, which is cool. Well, not cool for Tomataki, but cool for her. Again, even with the club members, you have like some armed mercenaries after you, so it's definitely a hard sell, but it's not the worst. Also, I think Achisata actually left. Never mind. Achisata was actually useless. But I mean, okay, that's all for me tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll let this marinate a bit. Probably talk a bit about it more in the introduction. Hopefully you enjoyed, and thanks for watching, and see you later. Bye. Curse you, Taki Takano.